Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Allie. Today I'm going to be talking about October new releases. Now usually if I do a new release video, the days before filming, I read the synopses over and over and over again so that I memorize them so that I can say it in a fun, entertaining way that's just off the cuff. But since I'm filming, editing, and uploading a video every other day, I don't have time for that. So we're just going to do it old school today and read the synopses. Some of these I haven't read. Like I just bookmarked them because of the author, the cover. I saw a blurb but didn't read the full synopsis, so there might be some surprises in here. I'm gonna try to make this as entertaining as possible, but 2 times speed, baby. And feel free to click around. I'm gonna be organizing it by release date or like publication date. So yeah, let's get into it. After I open an energy drink, because I just woke up. Cheers. Okay, the first thing I want to talk about doesn't have like a technical publishing date, I don't think, but Aardvark teased this on their Instagram. I'm not exaggerating when I say that I got chills when I saw this, but it's just a bunch of horror author names. Stephen Graham Jones, Rachel Harrison, Del Sandine, S.A. Barnes, Jennifer Thorne, C.J. Lead, Kay Conister, and Kylie Lee Baker. They haven't said for sure, but that's giving horror anthology. How did they keep this a secret? I don't know. And I've only actually read a couple of these people, but I'm so excited. There's an octopus and some sort of nautical doodles on the post. Aardvark announces their books on the 1st, so I will be the first one looking. That's what I know. Definitely go check it out if you're interested. If you're a horror fan. How did they keep this a secret? I just need to know. But yeah, it's gonna be very exciting. Now moving on to the first Tuesday in October, we have another book that has been teased or sort of revealed that Aardvark will have as well, and that's Mate by Ali Hazelwood. This is the second book to Bride, except for it's a companion novel, so we're following a different couple. The main character Serena was talked about in book 1, but I think you could probably pick this up without reading the first one. Let's get ready to read verbatim. Are you ready? I'm not looking forward to this. My throat's already hurting. Let's power up. Now, I don't think I've read the synopsis. A human hybrid and an alpha were claw against the bonds of fate in the highly anticipated companion novel blah blah blah. Serena Paris is orphaned, packless, and one of a kind. Coming forward as the first human were hybrid was supposed to heal a centuries-long rift between species. Actually don't remember this at all if it was revealed in the first book. Instead, it made her a target, prey to the ruthless political machinations between wares, vampires, and humans. With her enemies closing in on her, she has only one option left, if he'll have her. As alpha of the Northwest Pack, Cohen Alexander, is that someone we met in book 1? See, I'm going in this blind as you. Commands obedience. His authority is so absolute, only a fool would threaten his mate. It doesn't matter if Serena doesn't reciprocate his feelings, nothing will stop him from keeping her safe. But power-hungry vampires? I don't know how to say that. I'm gonna say vampires. And wares are not the only threats chasing Serena. Sooner or later, her past is bound to catch up with her, and Cohen might be the only thing standing between her and total annihilation. Now, I didn't love Bride. I gave it 3.5. I thought it was fun. First half, ooh. That was my werewolf howl. I really liked it. I thought the tension was great, and then almost as soon as they kissed, like, no, it was over. Which is not like Allie at all, at least for me. So I will be reading this because in Ali Hazelwood I fucking trust. So let's see. Next up, a new Tiffany D. Jackson. This is The Scammer. Now it says YA, but I think it's gonna be a college student, so it's more like new adult. We follow a freshman girl whose college life is turned upside down when her roommate's ex-convict brother, moves into their dorm and starts controlling their every move. Does he go to the school? Her roommate's ex-convict brother. Okay. Her friend's brother. Why didn't they just say that? I guess it's not as juicy. Out from under her overprotective parents, Jordan is ready to kill it in pre-law at a prestigious, historically black university in Washington, D.C. When her new roommate's brother is released from prison, the last thing Jordan expects is to come home and find the ex-convict on their dorm room sofa. But Devante needs a place to stay while he gets back on his feet. And how could she say no to one of her new best friends? Devante is older, as charming as he is intelligent, pushing every student he meets to make better choices about their young lives. Well, that's nice. But Jordan senses something sinister beneath his friendly advice and growing group of followers. He's a cult leader. When one of Jordan's roommates goes missing, she must enlist the help of the university's lone white student to uncover the mystery? The mystery or sorry, it was just so random. I wasn't expecting that. Or become trapped at the center of a web of lies, more tangled than she can imagine. I wonder if because they're making him sound so guilty in this synopsis that Devante is just a very charismatic individual and completely guilt-free. Next up, Savage Blooms by S.T. Gibson. This is the author of A Diary of Blood, I gave 4.5, and An Education of Malice, which I gave a 3. So I will be checking this one out. I have not read the synopsis. Adam has been in love with his best friend Nicola since college, but the closest he can come to admitting his feelings is inviting her to travel with him to Scotland. That would do it, my friend. In search of a legendary cave from his grandfather's bedtime stories. When a storm washes out the road, Adam and Nicola find themselves at the mercy of Eileen, an eccentric aristocrat, and Finley, her brooding groundskeeper. The Americans quickly get more than they bargained for as they become entangled in Eileen and Finley's world of mind games, kink, an ancient enchantment. Well, they're not giving us much, but I am intrigued. Next up, Her Wicked Roots. It's a queer retelling of Nathaniel Hawthorne's classic gothic story, Rappaccini's Daughter. Never heard of it. A young woman is lured into a lush estate owned by a botanist who might be hiding dark secrets. Cordelia Beecher is on the run. This is me acting it out. In search of her missing brother Edward, she has fled the oppressive charity school which she was raised in. Desperate to find the only family she knows, this is a hug. Using clues from his past letters, she sets off for the sleepy town of Faro, but everyone there claims to have never heard of Edward, not even the man he was supposedly working for as an apprentice. Okay, I'm gonna stop this. With nowhere to go, Cordy turns to Lady Evangeline, a local botanist who owns the magnificent Edenfield estate. I can't say this. The benevolent lady of the manor has made it her mission to take young, often traumatized women into her employ and protect them from man's world of wicked desires and deceits. Hired as a maid and companion to her enigmatic daughters, Prim and Briar, Cordy quickly settles into Edenfield. Even as her relationship with Briar blossoms, one of the daughters, Cordy can't help but suspect that there are secrets in the estate. And when she stumbles across evidence that Edward was once there, she's determined to find answers. I'm gonna wait for reviews on this one. Let me know if you end up reading it. This is another reason why I like reading the synopsis ahead of time and like memorizing the synopses, because I can tell whether or not I'm going to read it. Whereas like this, I haven't read all the synopses, so like if they're kind of boring, sorry. But hey, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe this is on your radar and not mine. Something that I didn't think would be on my radar but totally is Twice by Mitch Albom. Now Mitch Albom is that guy who wrote those books like Tuesday Was with Maury. What else did he write? The 5 People You Meet in Heaven. To me, those are coffee table books. I read those books. They were fine. They were a bit cheesy if I'm gonna be honest, and I was like 13 when I read them. But this sort of sounds like that movie About Time. And I love that movie, so I think I might have to read this book. Listen up. What if you got to do everything in your life twice? This novel is a stunning love story that dares to explore how our unchecked desires might mean losing what we've had all along. That's what I don't like about his books. They're very like, here's the moral of the story. One that we kind of already should know. I don't know. But the sort of sci-fi element is getting to me. When he's 8 years old, Alfie Logan discovers the magical ability to get a second chance at everything. He can undo any moment and live it again. The one he must accept the consequences of his second try. That sentence doesn't make sense to me. For better or for worse. So if he decides to go back and do it for the second time, he has to go with the second option. He grows up correcting his mistakes and saving himself from adolescent embarrassments. He even takes foolishly dangerous risks just to see what it's like to come close to death. Only a boy, I swear to God. Before tapping back to safety. Eventually, Alfie turns his gift to his love life, studying his crushes and going back to make himself more appealing. In time, he falls deeply in love with Gianna, the woman he believes is the one. He seems to find contentment. And we know that's not true because he used the word seems. But as the years pass, Alfie's eyes begin to wander, which is when he learns a lone caveat. Once he undoes a love, that person can never fall in love with him again. I'm gonna need some more explanation, Mitch. Knowing if he gives into temptation, he will risk losing what he has with Gianna, Alfie makes a choice that changes his life forever. The book begins many years later, after an ailing Alfie is arrested for allegedly cheating, that was a lot of alliteration, and winning millions at casino roulette wheel. As a curious detective interrogates him, he slowly uncovers Alfie's incredible story and its most unlikely conclusion. So it's like we're gonna be learning all this as an investigator talks to him. That's not as fun as I thought it was gonna be, but I'm still gonna read this just for the about time of it all. But also like, fuck Alfie. I didn't realize he was trying to cheat on his one true love. Next up, All of Us Murderers. I love this cover. It's a very short synopsis on here. A genre-bending gothic mystery with a strong LGBTQIA plus romance from beloved award-winning author K.J. Charles. As the mists descend, the gaslight flickers, and terror takes its hold, 2 warring lovers must reconcile in time to uncover the murderous mysteries of a Lackaday house and live to tell the tale. detail. NetGalley said a lot more, let me look it up. When Zeb Wickham, Mr. Wickham, is summoned to a wealthy relative's remote Gothic manor, he's horrified to find all the people he least wants to see in the world. His estranged brother, his sneering cousin, and his bitter ex-lover, Gideon Grey. What a good name. Things couldn't possibly get worse. Then the master of the house announces the true purpose of the gathering. He intends to leave the vast family fortune to whoever marries his young ward, setting off a violent scramble for her hand. Zeb wants no part of his greedy family, but when he tries to leave, the way is barred. The walls of Lackaday House are high and the gates firmly locked. As the Dartmoor mist rolls in, there's no way out, and something unnatural may be watching them from the house's shadowy depths. Fear and paranoia ramping ever higher, Zeb has nowhere to turn to but the man who once held his heart. As the gaslight flickers and the terror takes hold, can two warring lovers That one sounds pretty good. Next up, the Hearth Witch's Guide to Magic and Murder. We have a quote. For all intents and purposes, we are still blissfully separated from the mortals, but there have been ... complications. When a rise in London's supernatural crime puts Fae society at risk of discovery, the Winter Council turns to an unlikely solution, Avery Hemlock, the changeling they sentenced to 500 years of nightmares. I love a changeling story. Inherently lacking social grace and missing approximately 2 centuries of world knowledge, Avery must find a way to acclimate and solve the case or lose her probationary freedom. That's like a subtrope, I guess you could say a trope in a book, where someone is not from this time, they're either time traveling or they've been apparently in magical prison and they don't like know how the modern world works. That is just so fun to me. After being left at the altar and dropping out of medical school, Saga Trigg, these names, attempts to rekindle her faith in life, humanity, and witchcraft. But when her new neighbor Avery accidentally reveals the Fae that have been living among humanity all along. Okay, so Saga's a human. Saga realizes magic is far more than prayers, intention, and candles. Each faced with navigating an unfamiliar world, the two form an unexpected partnership, but shortly into Avery's investigation, they discover the threat might be closer to Saga than either of them imagined, and Avery will do anything to protect the first friend she's had in more than 200 years. Aww. Next up, The Night That Finds Us All. This cover is so, like, textured. I just want to touch it. It begins and ends, as always, with the sea. Sam Vines is struggling. Her boat is up on the hard. What? Is that like a pirate saying? Up on the hard. And she doesn't have enough money to get her back into the water. Turns out the snorkelers and the scuba divers are looking for the ultra luxury boating experience, not the single-handed, really sober, snarky stylings of sailboat captain Samantha Vines. So it's a good thing when her former crewmate Loic, I swear to God these names, asked her to help deliver a massive 100-year-old sailboat from Seattle to England. Sam is the only one who can handle the ship's engine, and did Loic mention that the money is good? It's very good. The Black Watch is a huge boat, an ancient boat. It's also probably, in parentheses, definitely haunted. Someone's standing on deck. No wait, they're gone. Ooh, this is playful little synopsis. Wet feet slap against the wood at night. Something screams, a wail that rises up through the rigging. Sam's alcohol withdrawal, sobriety is important at sea, has her doubting her senses. Oh God. But when one crewmate disappears and another has a gruesome accident, she knows that this simple delivery job has spiraled into something sinister. By turns terrifying, darkly funny, thought-provoking, and heartfelt, it's a salty nightmare lullaby. I am so excited to read this. I've never read like a gothic story on a boat. That sounds so intriguing because then you have the ocean, which is kind of like a monster. Okay. I really want to read this one. Next up, we have The Hitchhikers. I don't love this cover, but I remember reading this synopsis and I think I liked it. It's the summer of 1976 and Alice and Thomas set out on the remote Canadian highways in their new RV, hoping to heal their broken hearts after a devastating tragedy. Oh no. They've planned the trip perfectly, taking care of every detail. Then they meet 2 young hitchhikers down in their luck and offer them a ride. Suckers. But Simon and Jenny aren't what they seem. They left a trail of blood, destruction, and madness behind them. Now Alice and Tom are trapped prisoners in a deadly game with nowhere to turn. As the tensions build, the lines blur. Interesting. And the question becomes, in whose heart does evil truly lie? What secrets are Jenny and Simon hiding? And who will live another day? A chilling, twist-laden ride to the final page. That had me intrigued. The Hitchhikers is that rare novel that will break your heart as well as hold you in suspense. They made it sound pretty good. Next up, The Salvage. I love this cover. It's a twisting gothic literary thriller sure to delight fans of Our Wives Under the Sea, check, The Wonder, no idea what that is, and The Paying Guests, IDK. It's 1962 and Marta Curry, a trailblazing marine archaeologist, has been called to Cairn Rock, a small island on the east coast of Scotland. A Victorian shipwreck, dragged from Arctic waters, holds the remains of a celebrated explorer and the treasure of his final expedition. But on her first dive down to the ship, Marta becomes convinced that she has seen a dark figure lurking amid the wreckage. What's with these like ghostly ocean stories? I love it. When the Cuban Missile Crisis and the deep chill of a record-breaking winter keeps leaves Marta stranded on Cairn Rock, she forms a relationship with Elsie, a local woman working on the island's only hotel. When the ship's artifacts inexplicably disappear, Marta and Elsie have to brave the freezing conditions to search for the missing objects before anyone else catches on. As something eerie seems to follow her at every step, Marta must confront if the haunting is a figment of her imagination, the repercussions from a terrible mistake from her past, that's probably it, or if something more sinister is at play that will trap her and everyone on the island and their secrets in an icy wilderness. This seems to be more of like a psychological haunting. That's not as fun for me as like an actual fantastical shit going on, but I could give this a whirl. Next up, Cinder House. I'm actually so excited for this, and I just got accepted for the Neck Alley. This is a Cinderella retelling. Ella is a haunting. Murdered at 16, her ghost is furiously trapped in her father's house, invisible to everyone except her stepmother and stepsisters. How fun. Well, I mean, I hate that she was murdered, and I hate that she's trapped, but I like it when a retelling does something a little different, you know? Even when she discovers how to untether herself from her prison, there are limits. She cannot be seen or heard by the living people who surround her. Her family must never learn she's able to leave. And at the stroke of every midnight, she finds herself back on the staircase where she died, until she forges a wary friendship with a fairy charm seller and makes a bargain for 3 nights of almost living freedom. Freedom that means that she can finally be seen, danced with, touched. You think you know Ella's the ball. What? You think you know Ella. I feel like there's a typo here. The ball, the magical shoes, the handsome prince. You're halfway right and all the way wrong. They're trolling us. I am so down to read this, and I will be reading it. Next up, Keep This For Me by Jennifer Fawcett. One hot August night in 1993, a young couple go to a party. When their car breaks down, they are picked up by a truck driver who attacks the man and abducts the woman she is never seen again. That woman was Fiona Green's mother. When the trucker, Eddie Ward, is caught, a mass grave of bodies is discovered in his backyard, but Fiona's mother isn't there. 30 years later, on his prison deathbed, Ward insists that he didn't kill her, so Fiona finds herself back at the small town where her mother disappeared. Fighting demons of her own, she's shocked when history repeats: another woman, another roadside breakdown, and another disappearance. Only this time, the primary suspect is Jason Ward, Eddie's son, the dude that's rotting in prison. Desperate, Fiona hunts down answers, unaware that she's being drawn into a dangerous trap. Is that like her brother? I don't know. With Jennifer Fawcett's signature blah blah blah, it's a spellbinding exploration of what we unwillingly inherit from our parents. Yikes. And how one random act can send ripples years into the future. I gotta know what's going on. Next up, The Ordeals. In this lush, atmospheric romantasy, an illusionist competes in a series of deadly trials for a spot at an elite magical college. That is, if another hopeful doesn't kill her first. I feel like I've read the synopsis 100 times the last year and a half, but let's see. 20-year-old Sophia De Winter has only known life bound to her cruel uncle, the Collector, capital C, thanks to a blood bond he exacted from her as a child. When she learns of Kilmarth College, an elite academy for magic wielders outside of the Collector's control, she knows it's her only chance to finally break free. But to gain entry, she will have to compete against other illusionists, masquers, botanists, and alchemists in a series of brutal trials that many hopefuls don't survive, the ordeals. You have to do this before you get into the college? That's insane. Sophia knows her skills as an illusionist are weak. She only makes it through the first challenge by teaming up with a powerful and insufferably sexy botanist, Alden Locke. To make it out alive, she will have to hone her magic and learn to identify who is a rival, who can be an ally, and who is a murderer. Because now, not only does she have to protect her heart, but her very life. I thought you had to do that from the beginning. Hopefuls are being viciously picked off one by one between the challenges. This is sounding very familiar. In her haste to escape the Collector's trap, Sophia may have fled straight towards her own death sentence. I'm gonna need some of you to read this and let me know if it's good. I just don't know that I love competitions, especially when they often don't have that high stakes. They're often not interesting, or the worst one is when they tease these competitions. They give us like one detailed play-by-play and it's really good, and then they sort of fast forward like, well, it's been 12 weeks and I've passed every competition. Like, bitch, are you kidding me? Give me a refund. Next up, this is a dark romance despite this very, very, very cute pink cover. So put your dark romance hat on. No judgment allowed. I don't think I've read the synopsis, by the way. An exhilarating primal summer fling reveals an intensely sexy, edgy romance where anything goes in the woods. Just remember your safe word. Dear God. Is this cover not giving Shiver by Maggie Stiefvater? Like a pink version? Post-divorce and buried in student loan debt, Claire Collins, good name, eagerly enters a spicy business agreement with an acquaintance who wants to explore his primal desires. The deal is simple. 30 days as his sexual prey, $30,000 in her bank account. Now, she says this is just an acquaintance. Why would you trust a man? Period. But why would you trust a man that you don't really know? All she has to do is give Shane Underwood the hunt of his life. This sounds like a a horror novel, does it not? Claire's a physical education teacher and perfectly happy to spend her summer having wild kinky sex instead of working her usual serving job. But once they cross the tree line, she realizes how little she knows about the corporate lawyer paying her. Okay, this bitch is so dumb, it might be funny. Shane is different in the woods. Brutal, devastating, feral. That's okay with Claire, she is too. I know some of you are like rolling your eyes so hard, but like, I'm gonna read this, you know I am. And she's sinking her teeth a little deeper into Shane's heart every time he catches her. I like that we know this is a romance because this actually sounds like a murder book. Does she have to sleep outside these 30 days? And what does she do for food? I'm very curious. But also, what do you mean? It's not until she's in the woods being preyed upon that she agreed to that she realizes how little she knows about the corporate lawyer paying her to be his prey. This is gonna be silly goofy. Okay, moving on to the second week of October, we have Workhorse. I really like this cover. I remember getting a little bored with the synopsis, but let's see if you would like it. A richly drawn, unsettling, and wickedly funny. See, that sounds pretty good. Story of envy and ambition set against the glamour and privilege of media and high society in New York City at its height. At the turn of the millennium, editorial assistant Chloe Harmon wants nothing more than to rise through the ranks of the world's most prestigious fashion magazine. It's giving The Devil Wears Prada. There's just one problem. She doesn't have the right pedigree. Instead, Chloe is a workhorse surrounded by beautiful, wealthy, and possibly well-connected show horses who get ahead without effort, including her beguiling cubicle mate, Davis Lawrence, the daughter of a beloved but fading Broadway actress. Harry Wood, Davis's boarding school classmate and a reporter with visions of his own media empire, might be Chloe's ally in gaming the system, or he might be the only thing standing between Chloe and her rightful place at the top. In a career punctuated by moments of high absurdity, sudden windfalls, and devastating reversals of fortune, Chloe wades across boundaries, taking ever greater and more dangerous risks to become the important person she wants to be, within the confines of a world where female ambition remains cloaked. But who really is Chloe, underneath all the borrowed designer clothes and studied manners? And who are we, if we share her desires? Hilariously observant, that's the part that I think I would like. And insightful, Workhorse is a brilliant page-turner about what it means to be enthralled to wealth, beauty, and influence, and the outrageous sacrifices women must make for the sake of success. That's the part where I'm like, do I really need to have another story about how hard it is to be a woman? I think if they don't make this like some morality story where she has to go back to her roots, go back to her hometown and be a trad wife, I swear to God, or like she does all this stuff only to realize that she's become evil. It's like, no, I want her to become evil. That's a story that sounds more interesting. This is 560 pages. We shall see. Next up, Futility. I will be reading this and I'm so fucking excited. For readers of My Sister the Serial Killer, which I loved, and How to Kill Your Family. I have not read that. This is a monstrous, gleeful, bitingly funny tale of murder, body swapping, and bloody vengeance. Chia runs one of the best restaurants in Abuja, Nigeria, and is renowned among the male clientele for her captivating beauty. She is every man's dream woman and delicious hot pepper soup. Wait, what? Oh, I thought they were saying she is every man's dream woman and she's delicious hot pepper soup. But her hot pepper soup has a secret ingredient and her beauty is not what it seems. Dun dun dun! Claire is a 50-year-old British woman living in Abuja with her young Nigerian boyfriend and his beautiful cousin Sade. Consumed by jealousy and resentment and blinded to the poisonous tendencies of her beloved son, after a night out at Chia's infamous restaurant, Claire's carefully organized life spirals into chaos. Both women seethe with rage, and bitterness, and when a trickster spirit offers them revenge on those who have wronged them, they cannot resist. ... Crackling with wit, this is a blood-soaked, expletive-laden Latin? I don't know how to say that. I think you could say both. Tomato, tomato. It's a vengeance-filled horror story. Satirical, twisty, and murderous. This is bloody, deadly fun from a writer at the top of her game. I'm sorry. That sounds fun, creepy, descriptive. I think this takes the cake of synopsises so far. Perhaps the number one of the whole video. We'll see. Next up, I'll Quit When I'm Dead. I love this cover. Madison has seen better days. Reeling from a bad breakup, self-soothing with junk food, and totally consumed by her lack of direction, she's in need of a big reset. When she runs into an old acquaintance at the gym, Madison is shocked by how fit they've suddenly become. The cause? An all-female fitness boot camp led by ex-military guru Ellie Fellows. The course is characterized by grueling reps and minimal contact with the outside world. And when Madison signs up to experience it herself, something doesn't feel right. duh. The other students keep acting strangely. Ellie seems almost superhuman, and her intense motivational methods are becoming bizarre, even dangerous. But Madison is getting results. How can she stop now? How indeed? Oh, and then it looks like we have another character. Musician, oh dear God. Johnny Blake has been struggling with a pain pill addiction after a very public, very bad fall. At the encouragement of loved ones, he retreats to a secluded cottage to detox, but Johnny isn't alone. Something is lurking in the shadows of his new home, a creature unnatural and hungry, one that traps Johnny in a frightening bargain. If Johnny doesn't stay off his pills and keep his end of the deal, he will be eaten alive. As Madison and Johnny's predicament spiral into the unthinkable, they will have to look within to find the true and terrifying answer to the age-old, how badly do you want it? Nerve-shredding and compulsively readable. See, that's the thing. I want morals to get out of horror. I know that's like a huge part of it, but I want a train wreck. I want to read a train wreck. I don't want them to learn a lesson, okay? Next up, The Haunting of Payne's Hollow. I don't think I read the synopsis. I wrote in my notes, didn't read it, but it would be fun to read on camera, maybe. Okay. When Samantha Payne's grandfather dies, why would I think this was fun? When Samantha Payne's grandfather dies, she figures she won't even get a mention in the will. After all, she hasn't seen him in 14 years, not since her father took his own life after being accused of murdering a child at the lakefront cottage. Oh wow. Her grandfather always insisted her father was innocent, despite Sam having caught him burying the child's body, his clothing streaked with blood. But you didn't see him kill the child, just saying. But when she does attend the reading of the will at the behest of her aunt, she discovers that her grandfather left her the very valuable lakefront property where the family cottage sits. There's one catch. Sam needs to stay in the cottage for a month. What are these dumb ass inheritance rules? This is like a subtrope that I detest. I don't know why. Any sort of reading of the will, I'm just like, oh. To finally face the fact that she was wrong and her father was innocent in her grandfather's words. So in order to get the house, she has to stay for a month. But if she wants the house, she would stay for a month. So why wouldn't she just give it away if she didn't want to stay there? Like what? Traveling to Payne's Hollow. Why am I getting mad? I think I'm still a little tired. Traveling to Payne's Hollow, Sam is faced with the realities of her childhood and the secrets kept hidden in the shadow of her memories. When her aunt goes missing a couple days into their stay, Sam begins to question everything again. Plagued by nightmares and paranoia, she begins hearing sounds in the forest and seeing shapes crawling from the water as the rippling waves of the lake promise something unspeakably dark lurking just below the surface. It's only 288 pages. I'm gonna give a wild prediction. The aunt did it. I don't know, they mentioned her twice, but there better be a fucking lagoon monster. Next up, The Graceview Patient. This is one I think I really like the synopsis of. It's Misery meets Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Haven't read or seen any of those. It's a genre-bending, claustrophobic hospital gothic from the best-selling author of The Death of Jane Lawrence. Haven't read that either. Margaret lives with a rare autoimmune condition that has destroyed her life, leaving her isolated. Aw, it has no cure, but she's making do as the best she can. Margaret, we believe in you. Until she's offered a fully paid-for spot in an experimental medical trial at Graceview Memorial. The conditions are simple, if grueling. She will live at this hospital as a full-time patient, subjecting herself to near total destruction of her immune system and its subsequent regeneration. This sounds horribly painful. I have autoimmune issues, so like, the trial will essentially kill most of, but not all of her. Why would she agree to do this? But as the treatment progresses and her body begins to fail, she stumbles upon something sinister living and spreading within the hospital. So like, wait, what? Did they promise her something? Or was she like, oh, I'll do this for the sake of science? Unsure of what's real and what is just medication-induced delusion, Margaret struggles to find a way out as her body and mind succumb further into the darkness lurking throughout Graceview's halls. Pray tell, Margaret, why did you agree to do this? I hope that she really is just that selfless and she's like, I will let you torture me for the sake of people everywhere in the future. That's some queen shit, but I am completely making that up. So, Margaret, you have questions to be answered. Next up, The Works of Vermin. We have centipedes like this in Hawaii, so that's what really drew me to this. And then I saw Gillian Flynn's quote here, I will follow this writer anywhere. Gillian, where's your book? And you know what? I will follow Gillian Flynn anywhere, so therefore I will follow Here and Ends anywhere. I think this is the author of Leech. I haven't read it. I asked for this on NetGalley and I got it, so I will be reading this. Let's read the synopsis. He was sent to kill a pest. Instead, he found a monster. Enter the decadent, deadly city of Tillyard, a metropolis carved into the stump of an ancient tree. What? In its canopy, the pampered elite warp minds with toxic perfume. In its roots, gangs of exterminators hunt a colossal worm with an appetite for beauty. In this complex, chaotic city, Guy Moulin has a simple goal: keep his sister out of debt. For her sake, he'll take on any job, no matter how vile. As an exterminator, Guy hunts the uncanny creatures that crawl up from the river. These vermin are all strange and often dangerous. His latest query is different: a centipede the size of a dragon. with a deadly venom and a ravenous taste for artwork. What? As it digests Tilliard from the sewers to the opera houses. Wait, oh, I thought his name was Tilliard for a second. That's the city's name. Its toxin reshapes the future of the city. No sane person would hunt it if they had the choice. Guy doesn't have a choice. Now, I normally don't think I would be drawn to this, just because it's like a guy trying to kill a worm. But if Gillian says. Next up, Red City. In my notes, I said, okay, yes, it's kind of giving fantasy Romeo and Juliet. The Godfather meets the Magicians. In the sweeping adult debut, it's a dark and deadly contemporary fantasy of magical warfare, star-crossed ambition. Okay, that's definitely Romeo and Juliet coded. And the pursuit of perfection at any cost, set in the glittering alternate Los Angeles. Alchemy is the hidden art of transformation, an exclusive power wielded by crime syndicates that market it to the world's elites in the form of sand, a drug that enhances those who take it into the more perfect version of themselves. More beautiful, more charismatic, simply more. So sand they take to become more beautiful. Interesting. Among the gleaming skyscrapers and rolling foothills of Angel City, aka LA, alchemy is controlled by two rival syndicates. For years, Grand Central and Lumines have been balanced on a razor's edge between polite negotiation and outright violence. But when two childhood friends step into that delicate equation, the city and the past of their lives will be irrevocably transformed. See, all of that, the political, government, trading, spice, I don't care about that. I care about characters. I think I'm gonna care more about this paragraph. The daughter of a poor single mother, Sam, would do anything to claw her way into the ranks of Grand Central in search of a better life. Plucked away from his family as a boy to become a Lumines apprentice, Ari is one of the syndicate's why do they keep saying syndicates? Brightest rising stars. Once they might have loved each other, but as the two alchemists face off across opposite sides of an ever-escalating conflict, ambition becomes power, loyalty becomes lies, and no transformation may be perfect enough for both to survive the coming war. And it's the start of a series. I think I'm gonna pass on this one unless like excellent reviews come out, but like I don't care about political fantasy. I don't know why, it just is always the same story. The government's corrupt, both of these families are gonna be corrupt, and the true story is gonna be them fighting their families so that they can love each other. It's just a lot, so I don't know. But then some of the reviews say that this is super addictive. Y'all are gonna have to try this one out for me. Next up, Our Gifted Hearts. Look how pretty this cover is. When she's accused of witchcraft, Fortune must flee her village to spare her neck, marrying a man she barely knows. Why is that the option? But is the man who promises to be her savior all he seems? I bet not. Fortune Blythe suffered the loss of a secret child when she was 16 and vowed never to let another man touch her. 10 years later, she is content with her beloved birds. Aww. But when witch hunters come to town, it isn't long before fingers are pointed at the spinster and she's forced to choose. Stay and hang, or marry a man who can offer her safety far from home. Why doesn't she just run away? She chooses marriage. Whatever, girl. Her husband's island home is not the safe haven she expected, with a surly housekeeper and an eccentric mother-in-law to contend with. Oh god. And there's something else. Secrets hiding in the walls, demons creeping in her nightmares, something sinister in the concealed tunnels beneath the house. It turns out she is not his first bride. Dun dun dun! Perhaps she would have been better off hanging after all, or just running in a different direction. This does sound pretty good though. Next up, The Princess Knight. I do love this cover. Do you remember in Shrek when Fiona had like posters on her wall of Sir Justin? It looks like that type of like art style. Love it. A princess desperate to win back the prince who broke her heart follows him to his kingdom's prestigious military academy, and in doing so falls in love, saves the realm, and continues to look fabulous in this delightful debut fantasy. Okay, yes, in my notes I say it's giving Legally Blonde Fantasy Edition. Oh my gosh, someone in the comments said that it was formerly titled Medievally Blonde. Medievally? Oh, that's so fun! Okay, let's get into it. I have to read this. I love Legally Blonde. Domhnall and Clea are an ideal match, or so everyone says. They are prince and princess of neighboring kingdoms, an alliance the gods would smile on, until Domhnall ruins everything by refusing to propose. Heartbroken but determined, Clea makes the perfect plan. Follow Domhnall to Saisley and Costa, the military academy he's attending. Show she can protect her kingdom, secure the betrothal. Sure, the castle has a brutal reputation, but how hard can dueling really be? Warrior Ronan promised himself he'd never lose his focus. He'd fought and sacrificed for his place at Kathleen Costa, and he has no time for blonde princesses who waltz into arenas like they're attending a ball, even as she and her otter-like pet are, well, cute. So this is if Legally Blonde was a fantasy and the actual love interest was grumpy, because in Legally Blonde, he was a sweetie. He doesn't want to be intrigued by Clea, but her hunger to prove herself is something he understands. He tells himself that there's no harm training her, even if his heart does race around her, even if Domhnall is his best friend. I hadn't read that far. Messy, 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 messy. I love it. But as they say, love is a battlefield, and unfortunately for them all, a very real war is looming on the horizon. It's a fight that will threaten all their kingdoms and test their hearts. There better be a courtroom scene. Not like an actual courtroom, but like, you know, the courtroom scene. There better be some sort of like cut and paste, okay? I need it. This is 512 pages. I think out of all the books so far, it's this one and Futility that have me like, I need to tamper down my expectations though, because I have no idea if this is good. Okay, I've already put my tank top on and opened all the windows and doors, but I realized that one of my pages didn't fully load, and this is one I'm really, really excited for and have the arc for. This is We Had a Hunch, a mystery by Tom Ryan. It says it's Nancy Drew meets Yellow Jackets, and it asks the simple question, what happens to your favorite teenage detectives when they grow up? Few stories captured the public's imagination in the year 2000, like the friendly rivalry between the teen detectives of Edgar Mills, Massachusetts. Twin sisters Alice and Samantha Van Dyne were thrust into the spotlight when they helped their father, Sheriff Bill Van Dyne, bust a dangerous drug smuggling ring. Across town, bookish Joey O'Day proved himself to be a talented investigator of a different sort when he used his computer skills to expose an online grifter preying on elderly victims. As the two sets of teenage sleuths began jockeying to outdo each other, they became a sensation, appearing on talk shows and the covers of teen magazines. But when a brutal series of murders rocked Edgar Mills, a deadly miscalculation on the parts of the literal teenagers led to the shocking and gruesome deaths of both their father, wait a minute, I don't remember reading that, and Alice's boyfriend. The killer, Bruce Philip Kershaw, better known as the janitor, was ultimately captured, but both Edgar Mills and their beloved teen detectives would never be the same. And now it's 25 years later. The janitor terrorized Edgar Mills, and the teen detectives have grown up. Samantha and Joey have Sam. Again, why are there so many grammatical errors in the Goodreads synopses? Let me go to the NetGalley one. Samantha and Joey have scattered, colon. You can't forget the colons, baby. Sam, one of the twins, to Los Angeles and a life as a B-list reality TV star, and Joey, the techno boy toy, to a lucrative tech career in Boston. Alice, the other twin, still lives in Edgar Mills, rooted by her guilt and heartbreak. When Edgar Mills is shaken by a new murder that matches the janitor's MO, Kershaw offers from his maximum security prison cell to provide information that could help crack this new case. The catch? He'll only talk to the teen detectives that put him away. I'm sorry, this is a movie in the making. Like, I want to see this as a movie. I will be reading the book. I'm so excited for this one. Okay, moving on to the third week of October. I've got 6 books here, starting with Backslide by Nora Dahlia. I think this is a second chance romance. I've had some second chance romance exhaustion in the past like year and a half, but I think this one sounds fun. First of all, the phrase backslide, like you're backsliding, messy. It says exes are thrown together at their best friend's wine country unwedding and forced to reckon with their past and lingering sparks. So I think they were together in high school and now it's 20 years later. That's the kind of second chance I want, where like obviously they loved each other as teenagers, and I think we get dual timelines, so we do get to see them fall in love back then, which I do love a dual timeline, but also it's been fucking long. So it's almost like we get to see 2 new people fall in love. I think it's gonna be good. We'll see, we'll see. Nellie Hurwitz doesn't have a first love. She has a first hate, and she has refused to talk about what happened with Noah since their high school graduation. I hope they don't stretch that out, because like, what's the worst thing that could have happened in high school? Well, in a romance novel, let me say that. For 2 decades, they managed to avoid seeing each other until their respective best friends, Ben and Kara, plan an intimate vow renewal at a vineyard compound in Sonoma, California. Nellie is determined to keep ancient history from ruining the trip Kara has worked so hard to plan, but close quarters brings up feelings both Nellie and Noah have locked away for 20 years. Even amidst the awkwardness of their forced proximity, the two can't shake the heady attraction they've always shared. Written in alternating timelines, teenage Nellie and Noah fall together and apart in 1990s New York, while in the present day, they wonder whether there is still something real between them. Ultimately, can they find a way to move forward? They were in high school, like come on. Oh wait, I'm actually already getting annoyed. I'm gonna try it anyway. Or will they backslide and blow things up for good? I think they'll be fine. Next up, Wild Animal, and the cover is like showing it in a square. That's pretty interesting. It's translated by Robert Bonanno and written by Joel Dicker. Sorry. I wonder what it's translated from. Let me find out, hold on. He's from Switzerland. Nice. This is a gripping domestic thriller that transforms into an ambitious heist mystery involving a famed Geneva jewelry boutique. On July 2nd, 2022, I love a specific date, 2 criminals set out to rob a jewelry shop in Geneva. But even with a foolproof plan, their perfect heist will prove far from eventful. 20 days earlier, there's a lot of 2s there. On a luxurious estate along the shores of Lake Geneva, Sophie Braun prepares to celebrate her 40th birthday. Her life's seems she has a fairy tale marriage. Why are the Goodreads synopsis always like missing words? NetGalley had this correct. Her life seems perfect. She has a fairy tale marriage, 2 perfect children, and lives in a stylish, modern mansion surrounded by lush forests. But her idyllic world is about to crumble. Her husband is becoming embroiled in petty schemes. Her neighbor, a policeman with a spotless reputation, is obsessed with her and spies on the most intimate moments of her life. Yikes. Then on her birthday, she receives a gift from a mysterious prowler that endangers her life. It will take many journeys into the past, far from Geneva, to unravel the origins of this diabolical plot from which no one will emerge unscathed, including the readers. Told at a breathtaking pace, filled with nerve-jangling suspense, Wild Animal demonstrates once again while Joel Dicker sorry. Oh, it says it's translated from French. Sorry, Joel. Mr. Dicker. Now, I'm not too big on a heist story. Grant loves a heist story. I think I am intrigued by a domestic, like, creepy story, but it just sounds like this is gonna be twisty as fuck. And I wanna know what's up. Next up, Big Kiss, Bye-bye. A woman confronts the unfathomable origins and potent afterlife of passion in a new novel, blah, blah, blah. The things that hold life in place have been lifted off and put away. Uprooted by circumstance from city to deep countryside, a woman lives in temporary limbo, visited by memories of all she's left behind. The most insistent are those of Xavier, who has always been certain he knows her better than anyone, better than she knows herself. Why did you drop out of Yale? Xavier, whom she still loves but no longer desires, a displacement he has been unable to accept. An unexpected letter from an acquaintance brings back a torrent of others she's loved and wanted. Each has been a match and a mismatch, a liberation and a threat to the very sense of self. The ephemera left by their passage, a spilled coffee, an unwanted bouquet, a mind-blowing kiss, make up a cabinet of curiosities she inventories, trying to divine the essence of intimacy. What does it mean to connect with another person? What impels us to touch someone, to be touched by them, to stay in touch? How do we let them go? In yet another tour de force of fiction, blah, blah, blah. It explores the mystery of how people come into and go out of our lives, leaving us forever in their grasp. Now see, this does sound rather pretentious, but it also sounds like I'm going to be underlining the shit out of it, and I think it might hurt my feelings a little bit. It might call me stupid, but it might also be like, here's a bruise, let me like push on it. I think I would read this for sure. Next up, Haunted Kingdom #1, The Huntsman. Is this related to Snow White? Welcome to the dark world of the Haunted Kingdom, where the daughters of modern day mob families are reimagined fairy tale princesses, like you've never seen them before. In Huntsman, family is power and power is everything. Let's go. 9 years ago, my aunt took everything from me. My world, my throne, my mother. I've bided my time since then, serving under her in the Mwaji crime family, but she's crossed another line. She put a price on my head, sending the legendary assassin, the Huntsman, Malachi Bowden, after me. Okay, so yes, this is definitely Snow White. The Huntsman's never failed a contract before, but I know everything there is to know about him. It's finally time for me to take my revenge and finish the war my aunt started. The Huntsman might be my death, but Malachi Bowden? He's my weakness. You know what? I am just a bitch for a retelling, and you wanna know why? It's fan fiction, and I'm a fan fiction lover. Next up, Girl Dinner by Olivia Blake. I do enjoy this cover. I've never read anything by this author. I think I have 2 of her books. I love how I'm looking like I know where any of my books are on my shelves, but I have 2 of them. Have not read them yet. I think this is maybe the author's first horror, question mark. I love when authors dip into different genres. It's very fun. Every member of the House, capital T, capital H, the most exclusive sorority on campus, and all of its alumni. I haven't read this yet. I didn't realize it was a sorority thing. Oh god. Are beautiful, high-achieving, and universally respected. After freshman year, she would rather forget, sophomore Nina Carr knows being one of the chosen few accepted into the House is the first step in her path to the brightest possible future. Once she's taken into their fold, the House will surely ease her fears of failure and protect her from those who see a young woman on her own as easy prey. Meanwhile, adjunct professor Dr. Sloane Hartley is struggling to return to work after accepting a demotion to support her partner's new position at the cutthroat university. After 18 months at home with her newborn daughter, Sloane's clothes don't fit right, her girl dad husband isn't as present as he thinks he is, and even the few hours a day she's apart from her child fill her psyche with paralyzing ennui. Oh, that's really awful, actually. When invited to be the House's academic liaison, Sloane enviously drinks in the way the alumni seem to have it all, achieving a level of collective perfection that Sloane so desperately craves. Okay, wait. That's really interesting, because you hear, like, sorority stories. I haven't read too many, but I am a Scream Queens fan, so, like, I kind of want to read some, especially a horror one. But to have these girls that are in college so desperate to be in this group, but then to have another level of an adult wanting to be a part of, like, the alumni group and seeing those women as, what's that word that starts with an A? Aspirational, I think is what I was going for. That's actually so interesting that we'll have both of those generations. As Nina and Sloane each get drawn deeper into the arcane rituals of the sisterhood, they learn that living well comes with bloody costs. I hope they're doing some weird sacrificial shit. And when they are finally invited to the table, they will have to decide just how much they can stomach in the name of solidarity and power. You know what got me on the sorority kick? It was Kate Bryan with the Private series back in like 2006. This is her fault. And finally for this week, we have Good Spirits. Now, my God, the amount of Christmas romances coming out in October, it was like parsing through weeds. I don't love a Christmas romance. I don't know that I've read too many, if any, so I'm a judgy bitch with like no insight. I'm judging for the sake of judging. I think it's because all the synopses are the same. It's like, girl from the big city goes to the farm. Or it's like two people that used to love each other in high school come back home for the holidays and reunite. It all just sounds the same, and it all sounds like what I used to hate destination romances, where like they go on vacation. Mostly because it's like, yeah, anyone can fall in love in the holidays. It's magical. There's lights everywhere. If you don't live in Florida, it's snowing. But this one has such great reviews. I'm gonna read the synopsis. I haven't read it yet. It says it's the first in a series. Let's see. This is a whimsical new holiday romance, this time with a magical twist. Okay. That will have everyone falling in love with the ghost of Christmas past. Now, what's that original thing with like Christmas past, Christmas future? What was it, like a Christmas story? That can't be it. Scrooge? He's a character. Oh well. He's the ghost of Christmas past. She's not exactly Scrooge. Ghost of Christmas past Nolan Callahan intends to spend this holiday haunting like every other. Get in, get out, return to his otherwise aimless existence as a ghost. Okay, so he's literally a ghost, awaiting the afterlife. But when he's faced with Harriet York, the sweetest assignment he's ever had. Wait, I'm already in. He suddenly finds himself wishing for a future. Harriet York has no idea why she... Why am I smiling? Harriet York has no idea why she's being haunted. She's a good person, or at least she tries to be. A people pleaser to her core. She always does what's expected of her, but as she and Nolan begin to examine her past, they discover there are threads that bind them together. Oh, interesting. And realize there might be more to moving on than expected. With the deadline of Christmas Eve fast approaching, will they find the key to their futures in each other's past? Or will they stay firmly in the present, indulging their unexpected spirited connection? They better have ghost sex. I will throw the book if there's not ghost sex. Filled with magic, mayhem, and cozy holiday charm, the swoony romance is B.K. Borison's best yet. Honestly, it does sound like a sweet story, so I'm gonna try it out. I think I'm gonna do a vlog in December where I actually try and read Christmas romances, and then I might do a whole series where I try things that I say I don't like circus books, books about celebrities, blah blah blah, trying to find like exceptions to my rules. We'll see. And on to the final week, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books. First up, Hazelthorn by C.G. Drews. I believe this is the author of Don't Let the Forest In, which I didn't love, but I loved parts of it. I loved the fucking cover, and I love this cover. So I definitely want to read it, give this author more of a chance, because yeah, there were definitely things I liked about it. It says, perfect for fans of We Have Always Lived in the Castle, which I am a fan of. Evander has lived like a ghost in the forgotten corners of the Hazelthorn estate ever since he was taken in by his reclusive billionaire guardian, Byron Lennox Hall, when he was a child. For his safety, Evander has been given 3 ironclad rules to follow. He can never leave the estate, he can never go into the gardens, and most importantly, he can never again be left alone with Byron's charming, unachieving grandson, Laurie. Well, we know which rules are being broken. That last rule has been in place ever since Laurie tried to kill Evander 7 years ago, and yet somehow Evander is still obsessed with him. I fear this would be me. I truly fear. CG, you got me. When Byron suddenly dies, Evander inherits Hazelthorn's immense Gothic mansion and acres of sprawling grounds, along with the entirety of the Lennox Hall family's vast wealth. But Evander's sure his guardian was murdered, and Laurie might be the only one who can help him find the killer before they come to Evander next. What if it was Laurie? What if Byron deserved it? Just kidding. Perhaps even more concerning is how the overgrown garden is refusing to stay behind its walls, slipping its vines and spores deeper into the house with each passing day. As the family's dark secrets unravel alongside the growing horror of their terribly alive, bloodthirsty garden, Evander needs to find out what he's really inheriting before the garden demands to be fed once more. That sounds so good. The thing that kills me, you know I'm a romantic at heart, because ever since Laurie tried to kill Evander 7 years ago, yet somehow Evander's still obsessed with him. come on. Okay, next up. We have a dark romance. Dark romance judgers, look away, fast forward. I don't need your judgment. I don't think I read this whole thing. I wrote in my notes that it would be fun to read this on camera. So judgment, put it in your pocket. Unless this is really fucked up and then we can judge together. Pen pal meets Yellowstone in this dark Western romance featuring a college student using a false identity to exchange, oh yeah. The student has a fake ID so that they can exchange spicy letters with a prison inmate, only to be hunted down when the convicted cowboy is released. Look away. It all began with letters. Every word he wrote etched itself into my mind, into my soul. I had no choice but to fall in love with him. Girl, you're sick. And yet I'm gonna read this. Was it really so bad that the letters were part of a pen pal program sent from a penitentiary? Or that they weren't really addressed to me? It's not as if he'd ever find out the truth. Wait, so he was sending the letter to someone that he thought he knew and she was pretending to be the person? I'm confused, but I'm gonna find out. It's not as if I'd ever get to look those eyes that are as blue as the sky over his ranch he left behind, or that I'd ever get to feel his work-roughened hands dominating my body as he does my fevered dreams. But like, what did he do? You haven't told us that. Why is he incarcerated? Please, I need to know. Until one afternoon when I find myself standing in front of him, pretending to be someone I am not. But the joke's on me because for all my pretenses, his deception is much crueler. The hardened, dangerous, impossibly beautiful man is nothing like the man in the letters, and it's too late for me to run. They didn't answer us. Why is he in jail? I think that's pretty important. Obviously, we're gonna find out in the book, but like, I need to know. Do I think this is gonna be 5 stars? No. Do I like the first name Saffron as a made-up author name? Yes. Am I gonna read this? Probably. Next up, Spellbound. Look how dreamy this cover is. I love it. In the windswept island off the coast of the kingdom of Bava, a long-awaited royal heir is born. In ancient custom, a blessing ceremony takes place to bestow the princess with magical gifts along with a terrible curse. Except this is not the love story you know. Excuse me? Oh, okay, wait. I remember reading on NetGalley. Why is this not here? It's like a Sleeping Beauty retelling. Let me double check. It's a feminist reimagining of Sleeping Beauty. There's no prince to save the day, and the women at the heart of the story are their own saviors. Okay, back to the Goodreads synopsis. There's no prince, just 3 women. The queen, her chief lady-in-waiting, and Sel, a master's apprentice who concoct a desperate plan of misdirect that changes the course of all their lives. In the chaotic aftermath of the blessing ceremony, Sel flees the castle with a cursed princess, promising to raise her in secrecy. That was my favorite part of the Sleeping Beauty, like the old animated one, when she was off in the forest living with those messy ladies. I love those scenes. I thought that was like such a sweet, fun story. Anyway, meanwhile, confined behind castle walls, another child grows up in her place, like a changeling. But plain and bookish Talia is not the princess everyone was expecting, and as Sel roams the depths of the kingdom with beautiful and otherworldly Briar, who's Briar? The end of the curse edges ever closer. I'm confused. I'll probably read it. Next up, Only Rakes Need Apply. I used to read so much historical romance. I was a Tessa Dare girl, a Lisa Kleypas bitch, whatever I could get my hands on. I just thought it was fun. A lot of them were very repetitive. I didn't give a shit. I used to just munch them up like popcorn. Not literally. But I don't think I've ever read a historical romance written like within the past 5 years. Like I was always reading like backlist shit, so I'm curious what a historical romance of 2025 would be from some random person I've never heard of. Kate Pierce, who is, I'm so sorry, Kate. Let's get into it. I didn't read the synopsis. A sexy new series begins as 3 daring Regency ladies each seek lovers with no strings attached and find even the most unfettered hearts can get tangled up in passion. What's a woman to do when her husband has departed but her desires very much remain? The only thing Lady Carenza Smith Harding misses about her late spouse, a notorious gambler and adulterer, is his expertise beneath the sheets. And you know what's funny? I feel like people give historical romance flack because it's like old lady shit. Some of the smuttiest shit I ever read is in historical romance. They are freaks, I'm telling you. After 2 years donning mourning dresses, it's her turn for some frisky fun. But with no intention of remarrying, how can she find the right devil-may-care rogue for the job? Then it has a little quote, "Tilted lady seeks experienced unmarried rake for an afternoon dalliance." Did they have like a newspaper where it's like want ads? Oh yeah, the anonymous newspaper advertisement leaves little to the imagination and has a gentleman of the ton wagering who is the temptress making applications and measurements to fill a most enticing position. Except how would you do this? Random people would come up to you, right? They would answer the ad just to find out who it was. Thanks to an unexpected inheritance, confirmed bachelor Julian Laurent is free to indulge his passions, including the occasional seduction of married ladies. Still, he is appalled to discover his longtime friend Carenza is behind the public proposition. Surely Julian can prevent a damning scandal by pleasuring the lady to her heart's content. After all, it's the gentlemanly thing to do. I'm sure that's what he's really thinking. But as their sensual escapades tumble into a dangerously addictive game, might their friends with benefits arrangements take them from bedding to wedding? I love a friends with benefits story, and it sounds like the whole series is going to be like that. I love enemies with benefits to lovers. I love friends with benefits to lovers. It's just such a good type of story. I've talked about this ad nauseum, so I'm not going to get into it, but I will be reading this. Another first in a new series, An Unlikely Coven by A.M. Kavita. The outcast daughter of a powerful family of witches returns home to New York City and is immediately embroiled in a supernatural power struggle. It says it's wickedly funny. They better not be joking. LOL. After 7 long years, Joan Greenwood is finally returning home. Unfortunately, her family totally forgot about it. What? Joan's homecoming is lukewarm at best, but soon turns disastrous when news hits that someone has created a spell that can turn an ordinary human into a powerful witch, threatening the balance of the magical world and the Greenwood's place at the top of it. Excuse me, you need to accept the baddie into the circle. When her best friend confesses that he has secretly, accidentally saved his human-turned witch from an uncertain fate, Joan is thrust headfirst into a desperate race to undo the spell before it does permanent damage to its unwilling host. Soon, Joan finds herself drawn deeper into the heart of the city's magic, into an uncertain alliance with a, in parentheses, very attractive family rival, and far beyond the limits and everything she thought her own magic capable of. Welcome home, Joan Greenwood. This sounds pretty good. Next up, The Everlasting by Alex E. Harrow. I've still never read one of this author's books. It's a genre-defying adventure through time, as a reluctant lady knight and a not-so-heroic historian will fight through time and space. Is there time travel? To rewrite their tragic fates, and finally reveal the truths hidden beneath the greatest legend ever told. I have not read the synopsis. It looks very short though. It begins where it ends, beneath the yew tree, a girl not yet a knight and a boy without a story. It is where she pulls a sword from the heartwood and becomes a legend. And it is where more than 1,000 years later, he will find her and lose her and find her and lose her again. It is where a new story will be written, but whose will it be? So they're time traveling? Or is it like a reincarnation kind of thing? Anything to do with time? I'm in. I'm so in. I wonder if NetGalley had like more information in their synopsis. Okay, they do. I'm gonna read it real quick. I'm sorry if there's overlap. Sir Una Everlasting was Dominion's greatest hero, the orphan girl who became a knight who died for queen and country. Her legend lives on in songs and stories, in children's books and recruiting posters. But her life as it truly happened has been forgotten. Centuries later, Owen Mallory, failed soldier, struggling scholar, falls in love with the tale of Una Everlasting. It's kind of like Tuck Everlasting. Her story takes him to war, to the archives, and then into the past itself. Una and Owen are tangled together in time, bound to retell the same story over and over again no matter what it costs. But that story always ends the same. If they want to rewrite Una's legend, if they want to tell a different story, they'll have to rewrite history itself. I am so intrigued. Like, I'm trying to figure this out. I'll be reading it. And the final book we have here today is Witches of Dubious Origin by Jen McKinley. I like this cover. I love books and covers, but look how tall those walls are. When a librarian discovers she's descended from a long line of powerful witches, she'll need all of her bookish knowledge to harness her family's magic. It's an enchanting, cozy fantasy. Zoe Zykis enjoys a quiet life, working as a librarian in her quaint New England town. I do love a librarian story. When a mysterious black book with an unbreakable latch is delivered to the library, Zoe has a strange feeling that the tome is somehow calling to her. She decides to consult the Museum of Literature, home to volumes of indecipherable secrets, some possessing magic that must be guarded. The collection is known as the Books of Dubious Origin. Here, Zoe discovers that she is the last descendant of a family of witches, because of course, and this little black book is their grimoire. Zoe knows she must decode the family's spellbook and solve the mystery of what happened to her mother and grandmother. However, the book's potential powers draw all things magical to it, and Zoe finds herself under the constant watch of a very pesky raven. Is that her little sidekick? While being chased by undead Vikings, ghost pirates, and assorted ghouls. Okay, so it's like a quest kind of thing. With assistance from the eccentric staff at the Books of Dubious Origin, including their annoyingly smart and handsome containment specialist, Jasper Griffin, Zoe must confront her past and the legacy of her family. But as their adventure unfolds, she'll have to decide if she's ready to embrace her destiny. I feel like this one could be hit or miss, so I'll be waiting for reviews, but it does sound cute. Alright, that's all I have. Please let me know in the comments if you have any other that are on your radar that are coming out in October. I've been doing a lot of live sprints lately, and a lot of you have arcs to these and have been reading them, so please let me know your opinions if you already have them. I'm on a book buying ban, so it makes doing these extra painful because like all I want to do is just grab them. But alas, I will be putting a lot of library holds in October. I hope the odds are in my favor. Wish me luck. Happy almost Halloween season, and I'll see you the day after tomorrow. Goodbye.